Hey, have you ever noticed this? The moments in life that make you most anxious and uneasy are often not caused by major disasters, but by seemingly small things. A colleague's vague remark, someone's cold attitude toward you, or even just one imperfect performance. That feeling of overthinking the details all day long, constantly worrying about whether you've done something wrong. Have you experienced it? If you have, don't worry. You're not alone in this. Today, I want to introduce you to a special book, The Power of Insensitivity, written by the renowned Japanese novelist Junichi Watanabe. To put it simply, this book is like a cushion for life. It explains why some people always appear calm and unruffled, enduring setbacks without faltering. And guess what? This quality isn't something you're born with, it's something you can cultivate. Watanabe refers to it as the power of insensitivity. The Japanese term combines insensitivity with perception. In essence, it's the ability to be courageously insensitive, helping you find balance amid the storms of life. But here, insensitivity doesn't mean being ignorant or foolish. Instead, it reflects wisdom, a mindset of not taking life's complexities too seriously. Sounds like a relief, doesn't it? So let's delve into this book together and explore how it teaches us to find our own sense of calm and composure in a fast-paced, high-pressure world. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Delusion. I'm Sunshine, your warm and cheerful companion. Today, let's talk about a particularly fascinating book, The Sensitivity of the Mind *, translated as Delusion, written by Japanese author Junichi Watanabe. You might be familiar with his name, as Junichi Watanabe is a significant figure in Japanese literature. Not only was he a writer, but he was also a doctor specializing in plastic surgery and anatomy. His literary works often delve deeply into themes of human nature and emotions, blending subtlety with intensity. Published in 2007, Delusion arrived at an intriguing moment. At that time, Japanese society, much like many modern nations, was deeply entrenched in a fast-paced, high-pressure lifestyle. Workplace competition was fierce, interpersonal relationships were complex, and social anxiety was pervasive. Everyone seemed obsessed with cultivating sharpness and responsiveness, but Junichi Watanabe introduced a completely different perspective, delusion, or the ability to embrace a measured sense of dullness and clumsiness, a hidden form of wisdom. You might be wondering, what exactly does delusion mean? It's actually quite easy to understand. It doesn't imply you should become someone who reacts slowly or carelessly, but instead emphasizes developing resilience in the face of difficulties, criticism, or setbacks, a sort of protective shield of emotional detachment. Highly sensitive individuals may often feel suffocated by the noise around them, but embracing delusion offers a way to break free. Watanabe elaborates on this concept in his book, chapter by chapter. For instance, he discusses how to handle criticism. Sometimes you need to turn off your ears. In the workplace, this detachment can be the key to navigating competition and pressures with greater ease. And in romantic relationships, delusion can be the secret to sustaining happiness. Take marriage, for example, those trivial squabbles about the little things. If you treat them like a silent film, your relationships might become more harmonious. What's truly remarkable about delusion is that it doesn't preach or talk down to the reader about what they should do. Instead, it uses relatable, everyday examples to help readers feel and understand the idea naturally. Watanabe masters the quintessential Japanese narrative style, gentle yet thoughtful, calm yet powerful. In terms of its reception, Delusion became an immediate sensation upon release, garnering significant attention, especially among working professionals and young people in big cities. Its ideas resonated widely, not only within Japan but eventually in other countries as well. In truth, this book isn't solely for those navigating workplace dynamics or family relationships. It's a philosophy for life applicable to all kinds of situations. You'll come to realize that delusion isn't about conceding defeat or evasion. It's a wisdom for reassessing your relationship with the world and yourself. If you're currently grappling with challenges, feeling upset by criticism or overwhelmed by complex interpersonal issues, why not give this book a try? It might just transform your perspective and help you discover a completely new way to live. Junichi Watanabe shows us that delusion doesn't mean indifference. It's the ability to pull yourself out of the quicksand of hypersensitivity at the right moments, allowing life to become freer and more peaceful. Isn't this precisely the skill that all of us need? Alright, let's dive into some of the most enlightening ideas from the book Delusion. You might find that these insights aren't just about adopting a new attitude towards life, but they can also open up a pathway to living more freely and comfortably. So let's see if these life hacks resonate with you and offer some practical help. The first idea starts with the concept of delusion itself. You may think, doesn't delusion sound a little dull or simple-minded? Isn't it better to be sharp and quick to react in life? But according to Junichi Watanabe, delusion is actually a counterintuitive form of strength. It means being less sensitive to trivialities, external evaluations, or interference. Just imagine how many things in life tend to overstimulate your nerves. For example, a random comment from a colleague, a subtle tone shift from a friend, or even a small mistake made inadvertently. Do you often dwell on these for hours, replaying them in your mind, and end up feeling frustrated and drained? On the other hand, people with delusion seem to have an emotional cushion protecting their heart. Whether it's criticism from others or minor accidents, they can choose not to overthink or overreact. Imagine you wore mismatched shoes today. No one is measuring your competence based on this, and no one truly cares. Delusion frees you from these inconsequential worries, paving the way to genuine psychological freedom. Now, let's move on to the second key idea. Success, as surprising as it sounds, is also intertwined with delusion. Honestly speaking, achievements in life depend not just on skill, but also on the ability to endure. Watanabe describes those with delusion using the word resilient, because they refuse to give up over a single setback or recoil due to external opinions. Think about it, do you have friends around you like this? They may not stand out with dazzling talent, but they steadily and persistently move forward. Take exams for instance. Some people crumble the moment they perform poorly, but others shrug off initial failures and keep working calmly, eventually emerging as the dark horse. Delusion helps you avoid being too caught up in results. Instead, it equips you to face challenges with a peaceful mindset. The third point brings us to a very relatable scenario: interpersonal relationships. When dealing with others, do you think being overly careful or considerate is a virtue? Perhaps you feel the need to accurately guess others' thoughts or avoid making any mistakes. But Watanabe says don't torment yourself like that. People with delusion often achieve a state of thick skin in social interactions, not by ignoring others, but by learning not to be troubled by their reactions or attitudes. For instance, you send a text to a friend and they don't reply. Sensitive people might start overthinking. Do they dislike me now? Are they upset about something I did? But those with delusion would simply think, probably busy or didn't see it. This small difference significantly reduces anxiety in social contexts. This kind of delusion helps you stop doubting yourself and focus more on your own rhythm. You might have noticed that these individuals tend to have better relationships overall, as their relaxed demeanor often spreads to others. Moving forward, if delusion aids interpersonal relationships, you might wonder whether it applies to romantic relationships too. Absolutely. Watanabe emphasizes that in love, delusion is equally critical. Let's take an example. Do you sometimes overthink an offhand comment your partner makes? They may have said something unintentionally, but you keep pondering. Are they unhappy with me? Do they care less about me? In reality, love benefits greatly from a touch of delusion. You need to remind yourself that minor mistakes or occasional neglect from your partner shouldn't shake the foundation of your relationship. In fact, this sense of moderation makes love feel lighter and more natural, allowing both partners to find more freedom within the relationship. The last idea is a particularly practical one: delusion and health. You might find this connection odd. How can psychological concepts tie into physical health? But Watanabe explains that in the modern world, many stress-related health issues stem from excessive sensitivity to pressure. Think about it, someone gets overly upset about minor setbacks, leading to physical symptoms like a racing heart, stomach aches, or insomnia. Over time, how can their body cope with that? On the other hand, people with delusion know how to let go of small irritations in daily life, avoiding the accumulation of negative emotions, which naturally benefits their overall health. For instance, imagine encountering a rude waiter. Some people might get so angry they lose their appetite, whereas those with delusion might say, "Oh well, never mind," and continue enjoying their meal. This kind of psychological immunity has a profound impact on physical well-being. Ultimately, delusion doesn't focus on lofty philosophical theories. It's about teaching you how to face social interactions, workplace challenges, and even life's ups and downs with more composure. Those who might seem simple-minded are often the ones who know how to truly savor life better than those who are overly sharp and reactive. So, starting today, try embracing the power of delusion. You might discover life doesn't have to be so complicated. There was once a story in the book about an office worker. He was often overlooked at work because he wasn't quick-witted enough to seize opportunities to shine. On top of that, his reserved personality made his interpersonal relationships somewhat distant. One day, his boss harshly criticized him because of an error in a data table. Faced with the criticism, he didn't rush to defend himself or make excuses. Instead, he simply nodded and calmly said, "I understand. This was my oversight, and I'll fix it." Can you guess what happened next? The boss, who initially seemed stern and critical, later started paying more attention to and trusting this seemingly ordinary employee. Why does such a simple phrase, "I understand," carry so much weight? The truth is, it embodies a profound wisdom known as delusion. Junichi Watanabe emphasizes this concept repeatedly in his book. In a society that constantly chases speed and sensitivity, we're often too quick to fall into the trap of excessive sensitivity. We fret too much about others' opinions, feel uncomfortable at the slightest criticism, and rush to defend ourselves without thinking. But have you ever stopped to wonder, maybe sensitivity isn't as useful as we imagine? In fact, sometimes it's a double-edged sword, causing us to overreact, lose control of our emotions, and unintentionally magnify stress. Take a look at the office worker's choice. He didn't hurry to prove how hardworking he was, nor did he make a big deal about being criticized. His delusion allowed him to stay composed, acknowledge the facts, and avoid crumbling under harsh words. When you let yourself be less sensitive, you might find it easier to see the true nature of problems and discover opportunities for solutions. What Watanabe wants to tell you is this: life is often like this. When you learn to pause instead of rushing to confront challenges head-on, you might gain more space and allow others to see another side of you. A steadiness, a quiet strength. So what does delusion really mean? It's not about avoiding problems, but about maintaining your composure in the midst of a storm and carrying yourself with an effortless calm. And this calmness is, in fact, the key to unlocking life's tangled complexities. This book is like a soft yet resilient key that helps you unlock the burdens of your heart, and teaches you how to gently let go of the trivial matters that entangle you, using the power of emotional dullness. If you enjoy writings that ease the anxieties of life, such as the courage to be disliked, then the power of emotional dullness will surely become a cherished companion. Through its gentle philosophical musings, it shows you how to find inner peace amidst life's daily irritations. If you're someone who is often sensitive and prone to feeling anxious due to interpersonal relationships or work stress, you'll find strength in the pages of this book. It's best suited for those moments when you need a breather, like opening it late at night after a hectic day, rediscovering a bit of ease amidst exhaustion and noise, or on a quiet Sunday morning with a cup of coffee, welcoming a gentle moment of solitude with its companionship. The next time you find yourself stuck on minor conflicts that refuse to fade, take a deep breath and ask yourself, will this issue still matter a week from now? If not, try to let it go. When faced with unreasonable requests from others, practice saying a calm but firm, "Sorry, I'm afraid I can't agree to that." And when you hear unnecessary criticism, try silently repeating to yourself, "This is just a voice, it doesn't define me." May you integrate these simple yet effective practices into your life and let the power of emotional dullness become a gentle shield to help you face the world. Alright, we've pretty much dissected the core concept of the power of insensitivity by now. You see, insensitivity isn't about running away from problems, nor is it an excuse to stop caring. Instead, it's about finding a proper balance. It teaches us that sometimes being appropriately insensitive can actually help us go further and live with greater clarity. So, as we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a question. Have you ever had a moment in your life when you chose not to overthink or get stuck in a loop, and instead decided to let it slide a little, only to discover that everything became simpler, and you felt much less exhausted? Or perhaps in some future situation, do you think you might try to cultivate just a little bit of this insensitivity? Feel free to share your story in the comments. Who knows? Your story might become a small light for someone else to find their way out of a difficult situation. That's it for today's episode. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.